Hare Krishna. So we'll start with the prayers. I think light's a little low. Just give me a minute. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपदा मह्यं ददाति स पदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सागरजातां सगना रघुनाथां वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितां च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नाम्ने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पासादिस्थाने वाञ्छकल्पद्रुभश्च कृपा सिन्धुवे च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदन्नाय कृष्णप्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामने गौरसे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपस गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमस्ते सप्तकांचन गौरांगी शिरा देवेंद्रवनेश्वरी विश्वभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये नीलाचल निवासाय नित्य परमात्मने बलभद्र सुभद्राभ्याम जगन्नाथाय च नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नाम Hare Krishna. So we'll continue with our discussion of Raslila. Just give me a minute, I'll share the slides. Oh. Hmm. Yes. So in this way, they were excitedly uttering the songs. Thaiya thadiya thaiya, tatha tatha, thaiya thaiya thaiya, tigarata thaiya. The gopis stamping their feet on the ground and raising their arms in air, dance sweetly from left to right while going around the sangam press of the circle. Yeah. So here they were raising their hand, you can see here. Yeah. To further realize the singing, the gopis made mudras to dramatize the words of the song. As they gracefully turned their necks, their eyes darted from left to right, glancing at Krishna with looks of love, raising their arms high and shaking their bangles while spinning around. The gopi danced with a lightning speed. Because they tasted such ecstasy within, they just couldn't stop. Being strung on the thread of Krishna's beauty within their hearts, they flawlessly and continuously moved their feet to the left and right. So Krishna's beauty was acting like a thread, and gopis were acting like the pearls, and that is how this entire necklace of Raslila was made. While stamping their feet to the beat, dhi 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 dhita dhi dhi dhi, their bodies swayed in time, and their jeweled ankle bells softly jingled. The cloth slipped from their breast, and it seemed that thin waist would soon snap in half. That's how they were dancing. But fearlessly, they swung their arms around and danced in joy, twisting left and right. The veena and flute players also danced with precise steps. So they were playing also and dancing also. The singers and rhythm makers danced according to the beat of the song. The drummers played loudly and danced in unison. They also were dancing. The sound was like a thread tied to the bodies of the dancing gopis. Sound of all these musicians were like a thread, and gopis were like the beats, dancing gopis. When Krishna turned to the left while moving around in the Rasa circle, the gopis turned to the right. So they were dancing in upward direction. And when Krishna turned to the right, they turned to the left. Dancing in this manner, they appeared as figures spotlighted by a moving lamp. Like a moving lamp moves very vigorously. That is how they were moving. While which cast shadows first on one side and then on the other side. Okay. As a combination of golden bodied gopis and dark blue Krishna repeatedly reversed their position. So gopis were looking like the lamps and Krishna was looking like shadow because Krishna is dark blue in color and gopis are golden in color. The instrumentalists situated outside the circle assisted the pastime of the Lord by playing according to the dancing of the gopis. So they're assisting in the song and with their music. The gopis sang various songs about the sweetness of Krishna, who is the personification of all nectarian enjoyment. In response, Krishna sang about the beauty of the moon, who brings pleasure to the night. So in a gentle Ragini, the gopis sang, his face is the abode of sweetness. Who is Krishna's? As the beat picked up and the gopis stamped their feet harder, drops of perspiration fell from the lotus faces, from the lotus feet, like honey on the sand. So these tiny drops of perspiration are looking like drops of honey on the sand. Astonishingly, the fury of dancing did not raise a speck of dust. Generally, dust is supposed to rise, it was not rising. The image of Krishna's dancing, which reflected on Gopi's tilaka, swayed to the rhythm of dancing gopis as they rocked their heads. The gopis seemed to be saying to that reflected image of Krishna, "O skillful dancer, your dancing can never, never, never compare with the splendid dancing of the gopis in the Rasa Mandala." So they want to say that we are dancing better than you. And as you can see in the skillful dancing, your dancing can never be compared to the splendid dancing of gopis. Yeah. Then you can see in the next slide. At the end of the dance, all the lotus-eyed gopis tightly embraced Krishna. And because they were in touch with Krishna, trembling in ecstasy, they sang another raga in loud voices, conveying their intense longing. The devatas of music all fainted upon hearing this raga of gopis. So even they failed. One gopi joining Krishna in singing, sang pure melodious tunes with full feeling in the Gandharva scale, made pleasant by suitable jati, shruti, gamakas. Pleased, Krishna showed great appreciation for her performance, saying, "Excellent, excellent, very nice, very nice." She pleased Krishna by singing the seven notes of the scale, embellished with 22 shrutis, presented with the principal ornaments in the introductory passages. Alapa, that's called alapa. Hearing the mridangas playing tadik tadik, the dancers of the heavenly planets filled with cheer. Though critical of any competition, they filled with delight on hearing that sound. So they were feeling so delighted. The gopis kept dancing and the instruments kept playing. Due to intense attraction for Radharani, Krishna, swelling with bliss and pride, performed a dance, a solo exhibiting his eternal nature as an embodiment of rasa. Now Krishna was dancing alone because of attraction for Radhika. Wearing a peacock feather in his hair, Krishna showered the rasa dance in a cloud burst of nectarian prema by embracing Radharani in his arms. Yeah. So now he embraced Radharani in his arms. And when they embraced each other, Krishna was looking like tamal tree and Radharani was looking like golden creeper. Krishna was looking like a dark cloud, Radharani was looking like a lightning. Or like perfect medicine produced by the goddess of amusement herself to bring satisfaction and to dissipate all lamentation. So this embrace was like a medicine for amusement or for dissipation of all lamentation. The splendor of Krishna's elegance conquered the pride of millions of cupids. Like a magnet, Krishna attracted the flower buds of Cupid's arrows of love. Cupid shoots with sugarcane bow and flower arrows, but Krishna was attracting all these flower arrows because they were being sought by gopis. Seeing Radhika dancing with Krishna, gopis wanted to embrace her expert dancing, but they could not keep up with Radhika's proficient playing, singing, and dancing. So when Radharani was dancing, gopis wanted to like imitate her, but they were not able to keep pace with her because after all, Radharani is Radharani. This performance was not simply a result of practice, nor expertise in singing and dancing, hmm, nor a momentary display of enthusiasm based on little talent cultivated through repetition. It was not because of any modern, any sort of practice. Radhika's impeccable qualities are eternally present, eternally perfect. So there are these talents of singing, dancing, pleasing Krishna are eternally present in Radharani, and they're eternally perfect also. They don't depend on any practice to manifest. So Radhika's natural perfection far exceeds the perfection of all other women in the creation. So even the best of the dancer in the heaven, Urvasi, she can't be compared to Radhika in the skill of singing and dancing. What to speak of other apsaras uh, who hide themselves in front of Radhika. In front of Radharani, the wives of Charanas, they retreated to the edge of the forest. The wives of the Siddhas gave up their pride. The wives of the Gandharvas, Gandharvis basically, lost their noble character. She was dancing so beautifully. Fixing their minds on great fortune of Krishna's intense love for Radhika, the wives of Devatas arrayed Munis sprinkled flowers. So they sprinkled flowers. A mixture of enjoyment, enthusiasm, and desire to outdo each other, Radhika and Krishna overcame with attraction. They sang the alapa, the introductory part, with the initial note called graha and the sixth note. So they sang all the notes of ascending and descending scales with gamakas. This invoked various tastes, induced more singing, more dancing, and spread auspiciousness all around. In this way, Radhika and Krishna were competing, and this was giving auspiciousness to the whole world. It did not, however, appear to be manifestation of any material skill. It was not any material skill. As the rhythms faded out just before the end of the song, Krishna concluded the song with the final note, Nyasa, extending his lotus hand to touch Radhika's breast. Although intrigued by Krishna's witty behavior, Radharani pretended to be angry and pushed away Krishna's hand with a lotus hand. Merciful Krishna captivated all the gopis with sweetness of his face and his broad, playful smiles and gave rise to selfless love. So, though Krishna's heart overwhelmed with desire for conjugal love, he continued to dance a little more while swinging his head and he was dancing. Sometimes Krishna moved to the outside of the circle and danced with the tribal Abhira women. So, they were also fortunate to be part of Ras Leela, Aboriginal women's Abhira. That's why Vrindavan is sometimes called Abhira Nagari. Hmm. And sometimes he moved to the center of the circle to dance with Radharani. After realizing the dancing, Krishna wanted to see the expertise of gopis in performing other intimate pastimes. Okay, Ras Leela is over, let us perform other pastimes. So he stood before them, showing his radiant face and attractive arms, while interacting with each one according to his individual rapture. Krishna said, "O my beloved gopis, now take sufficient rest for some time, then we will see how to enjoy ourselves." So now there's a time for break. And now we can see the next slide. Yeah. So this was the break now. So all the few gopis are visible here. There are so many gopis. So saying this, Krishna and the gopis relaxed on the cooling camphor white sands along the banks of Yamuna. The intelligent Yogmaya, Vrinda Devi and her associates came there, knowing the time had come for their service. They knew this is the time for serving Krishna and all the gopis. They brought plenty of elegant and appropriate thing to give to the gopis. With great affection, they offered wildflower honey, cooling fruit juice in palas leaf cups, which are more attractive than jewel dishes, garlands, and betel nuts. With a taste so satisfying and perfect that no ordinary person could have made it. So it was just made from honey, fruit juice, etc. Krishna forgot about his pastimes of eating on the river bank with his cowherd boys. You can see that we had seen that photograph of Krishna surrounded by Gopas. But this particular honoring of Bhoga with all the gopis was better even than that. It occurred to Krishna that he had now fulfilled his desire to picnic directly with the gopis on the banks of Yamuna. So he had done a lot of picnic with the gopas, but now his desire to do picnic with the gopis was fulfilled. And now you can see in the next slide. Yeah. So Krishna pleased the pass the time playfully eating with them in unlimited bliss, intensely desiring to see the fun. Brahma and other devatas didn't go anywhere. They were just seeing this particular scene. But since they had previously offended Krishna when he picnicked with his cowherd friends, that time Brahmaji had offended Krishna. They did not have the courage to gaze on the secret picnic, so they didn't have enough courage. Thus, they raised their cloths to cover their part of the faces. So they were hiding behind the faces, behind the cloth. After severing the aesthetic rasa dance, Krishna enjoyed in different ways in that solitary place, joking, laughing, in madness of love. Devoid of restraints, the ocean of prema and the rasamandal swelled with high, unlimited waves. In that condition, Gopinaths, the husband of all the gopis, and his lovers tasted the sweet fruits and nectar drinks. When with great pleasure, Krishna sipped the cool water brought by the Vandevis. He relished the betel nuts flavored with camphor and sara root. This was basically sweetened supari, sweet supari, sweet betel nuts, which he held before his mouth in a unique way. The wind passing over Yamuna carried the scent of lotuses and blissful sound of cranes, ducks was being heard as this fragrant, cooling breeze gently touched Krishna's body. After drinking his fill of liquor before the battle of love basically, Krishna left his sitting pastime with a desire to dance again. So there were dress time, now again there was dance in the artful battle of love. Yeah. Now you can see in the next slide. Yes. So again things started. So Krishna was standing up and he was playing amazing raga in Gandharva scale on his flute. And this surpassed his previous songs that even the expert musicians could not touch it. So earlier, so many musicians were accompanying, but now he alone was exceeding all the musicians. The Devdas sang along, accompanied by mridangas. Because it is impossible to describe the fantastic dancing of the individual gopis, the dancing of one gopi, so many gopis had danced, but dancing of one gopis from Radharani's group will now be described. From which we can understand how other gopis had danced. Like when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to South India and he delivered all the South Indian, entire South India. So again, when Lord Chaitanya went to Vrindavan, so Kaviraj Goswami says that similarly he delivered everyone in the North India also. But then that is, he says, we don't want to repeat. So similarly, the dance of one of the gopis will be described now. So the voices of instrumental music blended in a pleasant way. One gopi who embodied the essence of art of dancing stood up amidst the singers like the center of a flower surrounded by golden petals. When When the beat fell off, beat started. She appeared like a deity making a sudden appearance to the clanging of musical instruments. So you can see this gopi here. Yeah. So there is a gopi here in the slide you can see. So the gopi had a thin, very thin waist and heavy swollen breast, while blending her delicate left and right hand to show the Ardhenu and Padmakosa mudras. She glanced slowly from right to left, perspiring profusely. Her body seemed to be as soft as molten wax as she moved gracefully, executing difficult dance steps. According to proper method, she extended and contracted her arms while touching her waist, forehead, neck, and knees, and forming mudras such as Hamsasya. So, dancing in this way, her waist became even thinner and her breast became more firm. Her braid licked her heels, hmm, they went up to the heels, and the three lines on her belly disappeared. When the beat stopped, that means she stretched her belly. When the beat stopped, she waved her hands in the air and suddenly bent her back in such a way to conquer the beauty of champak flower, bow of Cupid. So she bent her back. So that means the belly expanded and she bent down. Uh, Fixing her knees firmly on the ground and stretching her arms out to the sides, she twirled around with lightning speed. So it's like she was stretching her hand like that and dancing. Hmm. Fixing her knees firmly on the ground and stretching her arms on the side, she twirled like a lightning. Her ornament jingled, her necklace, earrings swung, and swarm of bees circled around, being attracted by the fragrance of her mouth that you can see in the slide also. So she appeared like a golden wheel spun rapidly by a mad potter. The combination of the mad luster of her golden necklace and redness of lips and the blackness of the bees made an extraordinary picture. So her luster was golden, her necklace was golden, her lips were reddish, and there was a black color of the bees. And then you can see in the next slide. Yeah. So while contracting her belly, dropping her sass, expanding her breast, the gopis dug her two toes in the earth, straightening her legs, and raised herself on her feet. Clenching her fist and pressing her thumb against her breast, she recited the bowl. Tatha, tathai, thai, ta, thai, thai, tathai, in unison with the beat while ringing her bangles and the ankle bells. When the song finished, she suddenly disappeared from the center of the circle and positioned herself in the circumference. With the voices, veenas, flutes, kartalas, mridangas resounded, this gopi stood behind the singers and rested her arms on the shoulders of a friend. While chewing betel nut, she extended her legs so the friend could untie the strings of her ankle bells. That means she was tired now. And you can see in the next slide again. Yeah. You can see the next. Yeah, here. Then to relieve her fatigue, her friend stood around fanning her with their shawls. So she was fanning her with their shawls. Her breast heaving, she took a few deep breaths and fell asleep. After resting for some time, she heard the singers expertly reciting the alap to introduce a new song. So after taking some rest, again she re-entered the Rasmandal like Cupid personified. You can see in the next slide now. Yes. Again the dance started. Illustrating the song with indicate mudra, she danced so enthusiastically that Shiva became inspired to perform his Tandav dance. So even Shivji were inspired. Her thumb had the best of the beauty. Her forefinger excelled the pride of Cupid. Her middle finger defeated the grace of the universe. Her ring finger defeated the pride of Cupid's wife. And her little finger established the meaning of colorful expression. This gopi with beautiful teeth, raised from breast and nicely shaped buttocks, waved her hands, exciting her golden bracelet to jingle attractively. She raised her knees and arms in turn to the beat of tat 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 thai, tiki da tiki thai. This golden gopi appeared like a continuously rising golden light as he twisted and turned higher and higher. She appeared like a stream of golden pollen stirred up by storm amongst a group of lotuses composed of singers and musicians. So, lotuses were singers and musicians, and the sea was looking like pollens in the storm. Like pollens, the storm would jump and circle like the sea was circling. As he swayed in the sky like a glowing vine, she displayed many complicated movements. Indeed, this does not arise from dance lessons. That means it was spiritual. At the essence of gracefulness, her feet never touched the ground. In a group of lightning bolts, if a group of lightning bolts from a cloudless sky remained stationary for a long time, swaying in the breeze and roaring the beat, tat 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 thai, it might compare to the gopi dancing. So you can imagine it's like moving here, moving there at different places. So she was dancing so swiftly. As the beat subsided and her footsteps softened, this gopi with full breast swayed her body back and forth, revealing the perfection of her beauty in her upper limbs. Her friends feared that her thin waist, unable to bear the bending, would break like a tender lotus stem. So her body was moving so swiftly. With her golden ankle bells signaled the beginning, she danced with great skill, moving her feet to the different beats Laghu, Guru, Pluta, Druta, Drutat, and Ardha Drutapad. She rang all her ankle bells. Sometimes she jingled only a few, and sometimes not even one bell sounded. Okay. Sometimes ankle bells are sounding, sometimes not sounding. And then you can see in the next slide. Yeah. Pleased with her, Radha and Krishna cheered out, very good, and embraced her. The gopis' spectacular performance astonished the assembly of Apsaras and Devatas. And now you can see in the next slide. Yes. Okay. So after watching each gopi dancing in this way, Krishna commenced his performance. Displaying inconceivable dancing powers, he moved with abandon along with all the gopis. Abounding in joy, he sang and danced and induced the gopis to sing and dance. So from this one gopi, we can understand how other gopis were dancing. Dancing in this way, the night passed in an instant, although it extended for the length of Brahma's night. That means each gopi could dance to the best of her capacity, as much she wanted. In this way, Krishna extended the entire night to the night of Brahma's night. 4.3 billion years. In this extraordinary rasa dance, sometimes the gopis dance alone or sometimes in group. Sometimes they danced singly in turns or joined with Krishna to sing and dance in a duet, as you can see here. And now you can see the next slide. Yes. Feeling both tired and extremely satisfied from the blissful rasa dance, the gopis opened their bodices and rested their arms on Krishna's shoulders. The gopis looked as gorgeous as golden creepers hanging on the branches of a tamala tree. Krishna was looking like a tamal tree, and they were looking like golden creepers, caressed by the breeze. Embraced by the exhausted gopis, Krishna appeared to be the embodiment of conjugal rasa, embraced by the embodiment of ecstasy. One gopi, swing necklace, lotus bud earrings, and an elegant dress, put her left arm on Krishna's shoulder. As her belt and ankle bells shimmed along, she sang and danced in a slow, artistic manner. Now things became slow. Krishna danced after her, following her movements. And now you can see in the next slide. Yes, the next. So one love excited lotus-eyed gopi grabbed the border of Krishna's golden dhoti in her hand and danced back and forth while pulling it and making Krishna dance in response. Another gopi, charged with emotions, sang and danced in an even tempo, responding to the sweet sound of Krishna's flute. So if it was fast, he was fast. If it was slow, it was slow. In mood of a jest, Krishna intentionally played some dissonant notes. It's like, so this was for fun. Krishna was dancing very artistically, and sometimes he would make dissonant notes out of music. With her glance, that Gopi chastised Krishna, while the same covering her own discordant notes. So she was also not playing in a note now, according to note, and she was angry. Hey, why you are playing like this? The Gopi said, Krishna, you are playing out of tune to distract me and point out my faults. I know your tricks. Your gestures reveal your intention to make one sign sing out of tune. After dancing for a while to his flute song, one Gopi induced Krishna to dance proudly by singing and playing her veena. So she told Krishna, now you dance, I will play on veena. Just for fun, in the middle of the dance, Krishna moved with a complicated irregular gait to move out of tune. Becoming very impatient, the Gopi thought that Krishna is not going to make me laugh and miss the beat. So Krishna was trying to make her laugh and miss the beat. So she said, I won't do that. Thus Krishna gave pleasure to all the young ladies of Vrindavan by embracing them, glancing lovingly at them with his playful smiles, kissing them, drinking the nectar of their lips. At different at the different gopis present at the Ras Mandala got a chance to dance and individually enjoy with Krishna. So different ladies got different chance. In this way, the gopi group leaders, their followers, maid servants, all realized great ecstasy in the Rasa dance festival. Fatigue personified as a friendly Sakhi to decorate gopis' foreheads with beads of perspiration that looked like attractive strings of pearls. So there were beads of perspiration in their forehead. The limbs hung loosely from lethargy as if they were drunk from liquor. So they were too tired now. But even in this exhaustion, the gopis looked elegant and effulgent. Her body drooping from weariness, one gopi wrapped her arms on Krishna's shoulders. Not being able to bear the weight of the mountain of her good fortune, she had to load it on the shoulders of her lover in order to rest for some time. So she basically embraced Krishna and took rest on that. Sometimes we find this was a long time in Puri. So once I remember this 2005 Rath Yatra. Yes, 2005 Rath Yatra. So that time I went in the cart and the Panda was asking me in front of Jagannath, Dakshina, Dakshina, and there is some Dakshina. And I was a student at the time. I said, no Dakshina. So it's like he slapped me on the shoulder and I just went to embrace Jagannath. I fell on Jagannath and I just embraced Jagannath. So then I was standing there praying to the Lord. This early in the morning after the Lord goes to Gundicha, maybe around 4 o'clock or something like that, early in the morning. And then I was standing there. I saw one panda taking a rest from Jagannath. He was lying down on Jagannath and he was like resting on Jagannath. So anyway, so gopis are also taking rest like that. After getting intoxicated on honey wine, one gopi completely discarded her blissfulness. Bringing with affection, she went mad to enjoy without restraint. She looked particularly beautiful due to shaking from the fatigue of bearing the weight of her heavy breast. Upon her shoulders, Krishna placed the jeweled buttons of his arms. So Krishna placed his arms on Gopi's shoulders, whose natural blue lotus fragrance mixed with that of sandalwood pulp, anointing them. So Krishna's body smells like aguru, camphor, sandalwood, and kasturi. It's called chatusama. These four are the most fragrant things, and fragrance of Krishna's body is more sweeter than that. Yeah, and now you can see the next one. Next slide. As the gopi realized that fragrance, she submerged in an ocean of ecstasy. Then, riding on high waves of satisfaction, she kissed Krishna's arms. Next to Krishna's cheek, one tired gopi, put her own beautified, put her own, beautified by the effulgence of her jeweled earrings, while glittering as he danced. She kept her cheek on Krishna's cheek. Admiring her soft, splendid face, Krishna kissed her and softly offered a sweet betel nut to her honey sweet lips. Though they were exhausted, some excellently, yeah, so you can see their fortune. Krishna directly giving his Mahaprasad from his own mouth. Hmm. So, though they were exhausted, some accidentally elegant gopis, inspired by the auspicious fragrance of Krishna's body, continued to sing and dance. In doing so, their bodies heaved with heavy breathing. So, they were breathing heavily, still they were dancing. Their necklaces moved like bellowing waves, and they moved in frivolous waves. So, while they were dancing like this, Krishna grabbed both their breasts with one hand. It appeared like a blue lotus covering two golden water pots. So being so closely set, touching one breast equal touching the other. The ears of the lotus-eyed gopis moistened with drops of perspiration from exertion of dancing and singing. As the intense dancing gradually slowed down, the tingling of their jeweled ankle bells ceased. Then another enthusiastic gopi, she stepped forward to dance with Krishna, accompanied by her present singing, precise movements, and delicate vibrations of her ankle bells. So, although the long night of Brahma passed away, the joyous adventures of intimate love raged on. So, even such a long night passed away, still they were like intimately dancing. But what about other Vrajavasis? What about other Vrajavasis? What was happening with them? Did they become one night old of Brahmaji? No. So in Krishna's pastimes, devotees control even space and time. So for these gopis, one night of Brahma had passed, but not for the rest of the Brajavasis. Like when Narada Muni went to Dwaraka, that time in every palace of Dwaraka, there was a different time zone. Somewhere morning was going on, somewhere afternoon was going on, somewhere night was going on. So even the queens of Dwaraka, they could control time. Like sometimes our pujaris in temple, they make a night scene in the altar. So it's the time for darshanarti, morning time, but they appear put a night scene. So similarly, devotees also control time in order to just please Krishna. So that is how Krishna empowers his devotees. Uh, yeah, and you might as well speak. Thank you. Yeah. So that is how uh, time was adjusted. Krishna sported like an engrossed boy with members of groups assisting the performance of Rasa dance. As expansions of the group leaders, these gopis embodied portions of individual arts and skills. So each gopis were expert in different arts and skills. Krishna, who is the source of Narayan, smiled, talked to them, embraced them, kissed them, and 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 drink the nectar of their lips. Why it is expressed here as source of Narayan? Because approaching Narayan, one can't even think of such favors. One can't think of immediately serving Narayan like that. But the source of Narayan was so intimately receiving the service of his devotees, gopis. So that shows greatness of Krishna. Krishna performed all these loving pastimes simply to fulfill the desires of the gopis. The doe-eyed girls with thin creeper-like arms swam in the river of desire for Krishna, inundated by the delight of directly serving him. And gopis' ecstasy, their heads, hairs, bodices, clothing had unknowingly loosened. And now you can see the next slide. Uh, yes. So Devatas heard by Shiva, Brahma, they praised the son of King of Vrindavan, Vajendranandan, the supreme person who stole the mind of all beautiful women in the universe, who's endowed with all wonderful qualities and who's always absorbed in his pastimes of love. The wives of Devatas fainted simply seeing Krishna from the sky. What an astonishing, incomprehensible pastime. Even the stars in the sky, caught in the whirlpool of love manifested there, lost their intelligence, became attracted by desires of their minds and fainted. So even the stars fainted. From its very beginning, Rasa dance disturbed the movements of the moon. Moon was disturbed. The night served Krishna's desire by lasting as long as Brahma's night. Yeah. Now you can see the next slide. Yes. The next slide. Following the Rasa dance, Krishna enjoyed with each gopi in a separate solitary bowers. So this was together, and now Krishna individually fulfilled the desire of each gopi. Krishna and the gopis were mutually attracted to each other. Thus, Krishna satisfied each gopi to the limit of her desires. Krishna's love displays a wonderful sweetness in union. With a tender lotus hand, Hari affectionately wiped the drops of their perspiration from their faces, who were tired from varieties of love sports. But touch of Krishna's hand saturated their minds with ecstasy. And because of that ecstasy, they were perspiring even more. Krishna was repugning their perspiration, but they would go in ecstasy and perspire even more. Yeah. And in this way, Krishna was not able to remove their perspiration because they were perspiring more and more. Yeah. Now you can see in the next slide. Seeing his lack of expertise in this matter, the gopis themselves took piece of cloth and wiped their own faces. Because if he touches, they will perspire more. So it won't be useful. Then the gopis who had exhibited a talent in performing enthralling dances sang some unique self-composed songs which were charmingly sweet, evoking compassion and endowed with exquisite beauty. So this is how Krishna became defeated by his devotees. Lord who can move the entire creation just by his desire. It's called Sat Sankalpa. He was not able to wipe off the perspiration of the gopis. Gopis had to do on their own. The gopis win over Krishna. And now the pastimes in Yamuna start. So just give me a minute. And now you can see in the next slide. There's a pastime in Yamuna. So to dispel Gopi's fatigue from dancing and exhaustive conjugal pastime, Krishna entered the Yamuna, followed by swiftly moving singing bees. Actually, these were the pastimes in which Mahaprabhu was inundated once when he entered in the ocean thinking it to be Yamuna. So if you remember the Antilila of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, where he jumps in the ocean thinking of Yamuna, and his body becomes like 1.5 times more than his body. This is the pastime which he entered in. So this was the pastime. So the lengthy pastimes on the bank had covered Krishna and the gopis with dust. So with great enthusiasm, they entered the lotus-filled currents of the Yamuna river. This was all the same pastime. Yes. Bhakti Sarup Damodar Maharaj was singing local Manipuri songs on these pastimes, and that is how he left his body. He was also like immersed in these pastimes. Okay. So Krishna looked like lordly elephant playing in the waters with his concerts. While bathing in Yamuna, the exquisite lotus faces of the gopis defeated the beauty of thousands of lotus flowers, and their arms defeated the lotus stems. Their full rounded breasts defeated the flocks of chakravaka birds, and their graceful flowing movements defeated the flocks of swans gliding on the water. When the gopis submerged themselves up to their necks, the sky filled with the golden lotuses of their faces. So that means only their faces were visible. Upon touching their pot like breasts, the river rose in waves to serve those pair of chakravaka birds. So till their chest there was water. Their main, their many slender arms hanging down on the river appeared like hundreds of lotus stems. Like lotus stems come from the water. Similarly, their hands were in the water. Smelling the fragrance of gopis' bodies, the swarm of black bees gave up the lotuses and soared toward the gopis. It appeared as if black Yamuna had come to respectfully greet them. When the swans flapped their wings, it appeared that out of affection, the Yamuna fanned the tired gopis. So swans were flapping their wings and fanning gopis basically with their wings. When swarms of black bees gathered about them, and the devatas showered white flowers. So flowers of devatas were white, the swarm of bees were black. It appeared like strings of pearls spun on a dark blue cloth. So these bees were looking like dark blue cloth, and the flowers of the devatas were looking like pearls, shaking in the wind. And now you can see the next slide. Yeah, water sports. So keeping their beloved in the center and making a circle around him, the gopis hit the water while holding their hands together. This caused little waves to rise from Yamuna, which in turn splashed against the chest of Krishna. The waves looked like hairs of Yamuna's body, standing on end in ecstasy. Interlocking their fingers, like making a pot like that, the gopis gathered the water in their hands and forcefully splashed it on Krishna. It appeared that Hari had been wounded by the power of Cupid's water weapon. Knowing that Cupid's weapon could not be destroyed, but it could be counteracted, Krishna dove underwater. So because gopis were splashing water on Krishna, so Krishna went underwater so that the water doesn't touch him. Very expert. Moving his hands, Krishna playfully snatched the sashes of the gopis. Pretending to be afraid, they jumped up and ran away as Krishna now pursued them splashing water. So very expert. Now Krishna went underground, he snatched their sashes, and now gopis were running and now Krishna was pursuing them and he was splashing water on them. Now you can see the next slide. Yeah, this is the one. Yes. After quickly defeating the gopis in the water fight, Krishna grappled all the necklaces as booty and stored them under his armpit. So he smashed away their necklaces. And now you can see the next slide. Yeah. Radhika secretly approached from behind, loosened Krishna's arms, and seized all those necklaces. And now you can see the next slide. Yeah. Then Radha tried to hide among some golden lotus flowers, but was also afraid of deep waters. She didn't want to go in deep waters. So Radha looked fearfully when Krishna discovered her hiding place and swam towards her. Coming up from behind, Krishna suddenly placed his hands firmly on Radhika's breast and lifted her up. The other gopi just stared in amazement at his behavior. Radhika startled with when some restless safari face suddenly brushed against her legs. So she became more fearful. Out of fear, she clutched Krishna's neck and embraced him again and again. Then Radhika glorified the genuine friends of Safari Fish and broke out in a tender smile because she knew that now she had a fun. While some gopis competed to pick lotus flowers and stems, they laughed and felt no distress. They faced one difficulty, that the desire born from bliss of seeing Krishna, who happily witnessed their actions. Affected thus, they appeared to be stupefied from a beating. So they were blissful as they were witnessing actions of Krishna. When Krishna approached these gopis and tries to caress their Chakravaka breast, they cross their arms in front. Their crossed arms looked like lotus stems embracing their throats. The gopis appeared to be sniffing lotuses as they slyly covered their faces with the lotus hands. In this way, by various gestures, the intensity of passion grew in water games between Krishna and the gopis. While drenched in Ghanarasa, that is Rangarasa, the gopis' kumkum ran off their breast, their necklaces broke, their kajal washed off from their eyes, their lips lost their red color, their jeweled belts became undone, and their hairs braid loosened. In this condition, the luscious beauty of the gopis became doubled. So generally, when person's decoration goes away, she looks doesn't look person doesn't look beautiful, but their beauty was doubled. This is the nature of person drowned in pleasurable waters of Madhuras. After offering the precious gems and jeweled ornaments to the Yamuna river as a gift, so they just gave that jewel as a gift. The gopis fashioned earrings of spotless water lilies. They used water lilies for their earrings. Hair ornaments of lotuses. That is how they decorate their hairs. Necklaces of lotus stems and the belts of Saivala plants. Their bangles tinkled when they scooped up water in their left hands and slapped them with their right hand, imitate the music of frogs. So it's like, yeah. So they scooped their water like this, and it was making the sound of frogs. That the water pastimes made a finishing close. And now you can see the next slide. Uh, yeah. After rubbing oil on their bodies, the golden hued gopis bathed and then climbed up on the banks of Yamuna. They looked very beautiful with their loosened undergarments and dark locks of hairs dripping with water. It appeared as if the bright rays of the moon, pursued by dense darkness, now retreated and wept. The gopis' towel dried their bodies and put on ornaments, clothing, and cosmetic, supplied by all auspicious Yogamaya, who is always active and expert in supplying the right things just at the right time. So she supplied for the towels. Expertise of Yogamaya. And now you can see the next slide. While dressing themselves, the gopis took the role of a woman who dominated the rowers. Swadhin Bhartraka. So dominating ones. With their pleasing complexions and dazzling earrings, the gopis looked like goddess of fortune. Intelligence judges just at the topmost reservoir of prema and the abodes of sweetness covered with festive joy. So they were looking at the topmost reservoirs of prema, Krishna Prem. Now you can see in the next slide. Yes. Now another beautiful pastime. Surrounding the supreme enjoyer and the lord of their lives, who wore an elegant crown now, a costume necklace, and other effulgent ornaments, the gopis entered the courtyards of the forest kunjas along the Yamuna, which resounded with flocks of singing swans and other water birds. Now, one Devi provided delicious fragrant madhu, honey liquor made from flower extracts, and jeweled pitchers, mostly Varuni, as you understand from the description. Intoxicated by fragrance, swarm of bees flew in from all directions and circled over. Though lit by moonlight, full moonlight, the evening sky appeared darkened by their presence. So it was full night, moon night, but then bees made it dark. Illumined by the moonbeams, the strands of bees looked like silver band, and the crystal wine glasses looked very enchanting. Because the moonlight and the crystal glasses glistened and equaled in intensity, one could distinguish them only by touch and not by sight. Crystal glasses are looking like moons. Gazing at the intoxicating beverages in front of the gopis, Krishna paused a moment to ponder its specialty. Krishna pondered, okay, how good is this Varuni? Now you can see the next slide. Yeah. To understand how it causes madness and varieties of bewilderment, Krishna eagerly drank that madhu. Now Krishna drinking. Joking with the mandiris, Krishna said, because mandiris, small mandiris, like Roop Manjari, hmm, they were supplying the uh, Varuni. So Krishna said, "O beautiful eyed women, fill the crystal cups and freely distribute that delightful drink to all the group leaders." So after giving Krishna a share, Mandiris distributed the rest. Now they are distributing to other people. Now you can see in the next slide. Mm, yeah. Yes. Krishna and the gopis sat on the bank of the Yamuna, which was purified by the lotus scented wind and washed by the nectar of full moon's rays. Madhu appeared to be all attractive due to its reflecting the image of moon in the crystal glasses. So the crystal glasses, there was a reflection of moon. The presence of the intoxicated bees were circling overhead, and the sweet fragrance of full blooming lotuses emanate from the drink. So, like lotuses, this smell very sweet. They were having the same fragrance. It is well known fact for the drinking madhu produces amazing effects. So, what are the amazing effects? As soon as you take first sip of this beverage, eyes become bloodshot. They become red. Second sip, the words stop. Person doesn't speak. He becomes dumb. After one takes third sip, it makes a person fearful of harmless objects. That means person becomes fearful of trees, the grasses, all harmless things, and fearless before danger. And if, let us say, the lion comes, they would put their hand on the side of the lion, thinking it too fearless. Knowing the characteristics of Madhu, the assembled gopis were reluctant to drink it and saw these as amusing symptoms for Krishna's pleasure. So they knew if we drink this Madhu, we'll do all nonsense and Krishna will be amused. So they were a little reluctant of that. Nevertheless, gopis sipped the strengthening portion. Because Madhu increased one's virility and amorous prowess as they approached the battlefield of love. Beautiful face of Radha and Krishna looked like combination of nectar-filled moon and honey-filled lotuses. Drops of betel nut juice stained their lips, with an attractive reddish hue. Hmm. So pan makes the lips red. While drinking the madhu, Radha and Krishna also sipped the nectar of each other's lips. As the festival progressed, Krishna became as proud and uncontrollable as an intoxicated elephant. Krishna, who is the infinite ocean of bliss and precious jewel of sweetness, abandoned all discrimination as he played madly with the gopis. After intoxicated, Krishna listened to himself without speaking. That means he was not speaking and he was pretending, he was feeling that he's speaking something. He was listening. The gopis quenched, this was the effect of Madhu. The gopis quenched the thirst with the first sip of Madhu. So they took first sip, and with the second sip, they felt stupefied because person doesn't speak. So they didn't speak now. And the drunken voices, they are conversing with manjaris. Now you can see the next slide. Yeah. So noticing the reflection of moon in her glass, one gopi asked, "Hey Sakhi, is this moon drinking up my liquor?" And while fanning her, this Manjari replied, "Ah, he's not only drinking your madhu, but he's stealing the beauty of her face as well. It has already gone down his throat. The beauty has gone down the throat of the moon. So what you do is quickly bite him with your teeth. For he's immortal anyway, he will not die. So bite him, bite the moon. Then you drink the liquor." The gopis replied, "Oh, I will not drink his leftovers. Huh? This juta now by the moon, I won't drink it." So she drank some madhu and threw away the glass. Another garrulous gopi with slurred, incoherent words tightly grasped Krishna like this, and she said, "Oh, look, 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 look! Sky is falling. Oh, earth is trembling. Oh Lord, please hold me, hold me. My body is shaking. I will fall over." So she was saying like that. And then you can see in the next slide, power of intoxication. Seeing the reflection of bees sobbing over her glass, one intoxicated gopi said, because there was a reflection of bees, "This is dregs of the wine." That means some solid waste is there which remains in the wine. She thought it is like that, which is actually the reflection of the bees. So then she poured the wine into another glass to remove the dregs before offering it to Radharani. Being totally intoxicated from drinking madhu and the nectar of Krishna's association, Radhika looked extremely attractive as he repeatedly addressed Krishna. So now Radharani is addressing Krishna because of intoxication. She was saying to Krishna, "Oh, lady friend," and playfully matching her mood, Krishna also replied, "Oh, Lord of my life." And Radha said, "You are called Hari because you are a thief and you take away all women." Krishna said, "Oh, Sam, be gracious towards me." So he was actually behaving like Radharani. So indirectly he was saying, "Oh, Radharani, may you be happy." Being angry, Radharani replied, that you can see in the next slide. Yeah. Being angry, Radharani replied, "Oh, lady friend Syame, has Krishna met you?" So she basically wanted to say that Krishna has met friend, has Krishna, oh Krishna, has my friend met with you? That means, has Samasaki met with you? Hmm. So Krishna said, "Oh Lord," he was like behaving as if he Radharani. "Oh Lord, I worship you." Indirectly, he wanted to say, "Oh Radharani, I worship you alone. There's no one else in this world but you." That means I didn't meet anyone. I just met you because I know only you. So in this way, Krishna was glorifying Radharani. So in this way, Radha and Krishna bewildered by Cupid with their inverted conversations caused by drinking Madhu. So because of Madhu, Krishna was speaking to Radharani as if he is Radha and she is Krishna. And Radharani was speaking as if he's Krishna and she's Radha. He's Radha. After some time, the intoxication of the liquor wore off and they recovered their self awareness. But the lethargy, dizziness, and so on from being intoxicated causes a lessening of desires. So now you may say, four relative principles. On metal platform, they're condemned, not in the spiritual platform. Hmm. So now Radha and Krishna entered a state of transcendental madness in love, when inability decreases and desire increases. In this way, the beautiful gopis of Vrindavan spent the night, which lasted as long as Brahma's day, intimately associating with the Lord of their lives. The crest jewel of enjoyment, whose body is made of intense bliss, revealed his playful pastimes of love in the company of Rajgopis. And who are these Rajgopis? Their expansion of his personal potency known as Ladini Shakti. So that's why these all these gopis they are called Antaranga Shakti of the Lord. They're basically existence of Krishna's body. Since the conjugal affairs of materialistic men are devoid of spiritual rasa, the poetic works written about them are useless productions because it's not spiritual, it's material. Like sometimes metal poets say, "Oh, honey is dripping from our mouth." It's a saliva basically, not honey. But in this case, it was spiritual. Therefore, Krishna displayed his transcendental pastime to show the perfection of such activities. Cupid also attained success by assisting Krishna's divine pastimes in Vrindavan. He also got opportunity now because otherwise he was just assisting in material pastimes. The multitude of stars in the sky, which seemed like remnants of flowers, showered by the wives of Videvtas, looked like fading morsels of moon's repast. So they were looking like fleeting moments. Like something passes over, only remnants remain. So stars were looking like that. The pearls of the night queen had been torn from their strings and scattered about in the play by her consort, the moon. The night collected them again. So night collected again the concerts. Basically, which means the stars were diminishing now. The remaining stars in the sky looked like the last stray pearls, which gradually disappeared as the night grew to close. That means night was ending. The moon appeared like a silver ship traveling from one continent to another, and the ocean on the ocean breast of the sky. Being trapped by the counter winds of the Raslila, that ship, that ship could not move forward for a long time. So for a long time, the night couldn't move because night was attracted by Raslila. When the Raslila subsided, the ship again moved and soon arrived at its destination, the west. So it was stuck for one night of Brahma, and again it went to the other shore, the ship of night. As the moons and stars gradually disappeared, the long night, feeling sorrowful due to its impeding separation from the Lord, appeared ready to give up its body. The wives of the Devtas, their hearts being pierced with the lens of separation, also disappeared from the sky. Yeah. And now you can see the next slide. Yeah. Yes. So this was happening in the Vrindavan now, in their homes. Though the night had been as long as day of Lord Brahma, upon the conclusion of Ras Leela, at the end of that night, the gopis returned to their homes of their so-called husbands. Their husbands, however, did not find any fault in them because Yogamaya had made duplicate copies of each gopi. So they didn't even realize that our wives were there with Krishna. Husband took these forms to be their wives. These duplicate gopis spent the whole night sleeping next to their husband. That the so-called husband never actually had any intimate contact with Krishna's transcendental consorts known as Vraj gopis. So whomever they touched were actually the imitating gopis made by Krishna. Yeah. Yes. Aditi Gorpu has a question.
Yes, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I wanted to ask that, for example, there are five rasas,
Mm-hmm.
Vatsalya rasa and the Sakya rasa and so on. But I sometimes feel that how does it, matlab, who are the husbands of the gopis? matlab, how they become the husbands of the gopis, if I'm making sense.
Okay. See, these are also Gopas who may be in different rasa with Krishna.
Hmm.
But now they are not aware that no, our wives are going and dancing with Krishna. They're not aware of that. They're just,
Hmm.
some of them are sometimes worried that no, uh, why our wives are behaving so madly and running away in the night in the forest.
So that means in the spiritual world,
Hmm.
everyone does not know that we all are connected to Krishna by any chance.
See, they are not aware of other ones, except
Okay.
few
Hmm.
exceptions. Like for example, Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj doesn't know Krishna's pastime with the gopis.
Okay.
He thinks that our Lala is so innocent. How they can't even imagine Krishna dancing with the gopis.
Hmm.
Similarly, these gopas they have sakharas with Krishna, but they can't imagine that okay, their wives are also having that madhuras with Krishna.
Hmm.
And that is why it is said that actually, even in the perfected state, one can never become omniscient. So in the
Hmm.
conditioned state, we are not omniscient because of Mahamaya. In the liberated state, because of Yoga Maya, we are not like omniscient. Only
Omniscient means Prabhuji?
omniscient means all knowing.
Okay. Hmm.
So only Krishna is all knowing. Krishna knows everything. Except Krishna, nobody knows everything. So
Okay.
Jiva in all the conditions of life always remains a Jiva only.
Okay. Hmm. Understood. Prabhuji,
Okay.
another question.
Hmm. Hmm.
Did Krishna spend more time with gopis or with the gopas?
I don't know. From this episode, it looks as if he spent more time with the gopis.
Hmm.
But the entire night of Brahma was spent like that. And really speaking, when we talk about time and speed, actually, spiritual world is not bound by that.
Yeah. Hmm.
Like I'll give you one example. Even in the material sense, it is only
Hmm.
gross body which is bound by time.
Hmm.
Like for example, can you think of some episode 20 years back?
No.
Okay. Can you think of some episode 10 years back?
No.
Nothing. Or at least you can think of something 1 year back. I don't know whether
Okay.
you are able to understand my question. Question means,
No, 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 no.
can you think of can you think of past or not? Do you have some past memories of this life or no?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, of this life I have. I thought you are asking what happened with you 10 days back, something
No, no,
like
no,
that.
no, no, not like that.
Okay.
So
Hmm.
I'm talking,
Understood. Yes, yes. I remember. 10 days, 20 days,
yeah.
1 year.
But can your body become 10 years older?
No.
No. That means even on the subtle platform, we can go back in time, we can move forward in time, but our gross bodies can't move forward and backward in time.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. And what to say on a spiritual platform? So, spiritual
Hmm.
platform, one is not bound by time.
Hmm. Yes, yes. Understood.
Understood? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much, Rohit. I appreciate.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Okay. Now we'll go to the next. We'll continue. So, for Krishna, the possessor of unlimited energies, who is Shaktiman, the gopis, the embodiments of his Ladini Shakti, there's no question of immorality in his enjoying his own Sarup Shakti, which was manifesting in the form of so many Vraj gopis. However, to nourish the taste of his pastimes, Krishna's relationship with the gopis seems to be unchaste illicit love according to conventions of mundane society. But even if you see from other point of view, Krishna was not even 11 years old. When he was 11 years old, he left Vrindavan. So from that sense, somebody sees, oh, 9 or 10 years old boy dancing with someone, he won't have any doubt on that. The deep attachment Krishna had for his beloved Vraj gopis is never seen in the Lord of Dwarika or Rukmini or the Lord of Vaikuntha and Lakshmi. So the type of frivolous nature Krishna had with the gopis, how he was free, It was like you can't see that relationship anywhere. The full taste of rasa that Krishna experienced in the Parkiya Bhav, Paramar love, of the Vraj gopis far exceeds the rasa tasted by Swakiya Bhav, wed gopis of Queens of Dwarka. And the reason is that there are more restrictions. When there are more restrictions, there's more love. The Parkiya Bhav, Leela, the Ras Leela, is not simply a temporary manifestation. This perfectly pure transcendental pastime is eternally going on as Aprakat Leela. So we can't see it with our invisible eyes, but it is there. Krishna displays this marvelous pastime in this material world just to bestow his mercy upon conditioned souls. Anyone who faithfully hears or describes Krishna's Ras Leela with the gopis will attain inestimable good fortune. Among literary works, those about Hari are sweet, but those describing Krishna in Vrindavan are sweetest quintessence of nectar. So, as the Ganga forever, among the topics of Krishna, like Ganga is considered best of the rivers. Similarly, the topics of Krishna, the Raslila is ever flowing embodiment of bliss. Like Ganga is always flowing. Similarly, these topics of Krishna concerning with Raslila are always flowing. And then Kavi Kanpur prays, may my mind always swim in the river of nectar. Yeah, so this concludes Raslila. This considered the topmost of all the pastimes. So maybe we'll just begin with the next pastime. If devotees have some comment or question they can ask, otherwise we'll move to the next pastime.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Please accept my most respectful obeisances at the
Hare
dust
Hare.
of your lotus feet.
Hare
My
Hare.
very respectful pranams to all the Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis, all goes to Srila Prabhupada, all goes to Srila Kanpur. What a description! I mean, I was just looking at the whole volume of this pastime that Srila Kavi Kanpur has narrated. It just seems that to which level he was engrossed in this pastime.
Yeah.
Um, the the details that he has produced right from the beginning of the Leela till the end of the Leela, I just feel that we are so blessed to be in a lineage of these acharyas who they themselves are manjaris in this, they are manjaris in the spiritual life, and they they themselves have been part of this Leela. Otherwise, how would it be possible for them to describe it the way they do? And we know this is not imagination. This is not the work of fiction. This is not their imagination. So I just feel that so fortunate we are to be in this lineage and to be carrying these legacy. It's amazing, Prabhu. Thank you so much for taking us through this, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you. And we are expecting one day we'll be part of these pastimes. Yeah. Yes. Yes, Brajila Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Hare.
So, Prabhuji, the manjaris, they are serving the gopis, right?
Yeah.
So, what is their Sthai Bhav? They are in servitude, or they're in friendship, or they are also having Madhurya Prem?
Actually, they have Madhur Prem. Their Madhur Prem is considered by our Sampradaya to be higher than even the Prem which gopis have for Krishna. That's something amazing. Because Mandiris, they assist Radha and Krishna in their pastimes. So in certain pastimes which are very intimate, there even gopis are not allowed. Only Mandiris are allowed. So Mandiris may be doing services like distributing Varoni, keeping towels for them so that they can wipe they can dry their bodies. But while doing all these services, they get the same bliss which Radharani gets by meeting with Krishna. So they have that same Madhura Bhav, but it's more in let Krishna enjoy the best of the pleasures. And who can give best of the pleasures to Krishna? That's Radharani. Because for gopis and all the devotees basically, their pleasure is in seeing Krishna to be happy. So when Manjaris assist Krishna in his best pleasure, they feel even more bliss. They feel even more bliss than gopis directly associating with Krishna. So that's
But
basically.
they never wish to enjoy separately with Krishna. That is never there in their mind. Still, they're considered as Madhurya Prema devotees only, Prabhuji.
No, Krishna does that. Like if you see in one of the previous pastimes, uh, where Krishna was meeting with the gopis in the kunjas. So after embracing Radharani, that was first meeting of Radharani that it was mentioned. Then Krishna later on embraced all the gopis and manjaris also actually. So Krishna does that occasionally, but for them the greater pleasure is let Radharani enjoy with Krishna than Krishna directly enjoying with me.
Right, Prabhuji. Thank you for clarifying. It's been there in my head for a long time. Somehow it happened that today I'm able to discuss this. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes.
This is what I've heard from my Shiksha Guru, His Grace
Mhm.
Pran Govind Prabhu. So he was just saying that, have you ever wondered that with the wives of Krishna,
Mhm.
Rukmini, Satyabhama, they, there were so many maid servants who accompanied them. And
Mhm.
Krishna being all attractive, all beautiful, all, didn't they ever have any attraction for Krishna? Didn't they want the association of Krishna?
Mhm.
So then he took this thing to the Manjaris, and he said that because the Manjaris are expansion of Radharani,
Mhm.
whatever feeling Radharani feels in her heart, that is
Mhm.
automatically extended to their heart also.
Mhm.
So as you're saying, Prabhu, just it's just the same thing that seeing Radha Krishna satisfied, because Radharani is satisfied, because Krishna is satisfied, her satisfaction gets extended to the hearts of these manjaris, and they
Mhm.
are happy just seeing them happy. So they never even desire for separate leelas,
Mhm.
enjoying with Krishna all by themselves. So just wanted to share that.
Yeah. Thank you. Actually, it reminds me of an analogy. Like there is a creeper, Krishna is compared to a tamal tree, Radharani is the golden creeper, and all these manjaris are like small birds on the creeper. So when the creeper gets nourished and creeper gets pleasure by embracing the tree, automatically all these birds get the pleasure. So because we are not just part and parcel of Krishna, we are part and parcel of Radharani and Balram also. We are Sat Chid Ananda. Sat feature comes from Krishna directly. Chit feature comes from Balram, and Anand feature comes from Radharani. So being part and parcel of Radharani, eternally we anyway will be satisfied when Radharani is satisfied. So it's our nature to be satisfied when the Radharani is satisfied. Because Radharani is embodiment of Ladini potency, which appears as Ananda feature within every living entity.
Because Radha,
Okay. Yeah.
amazing, Prabhu. So beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing this, Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you. Hari Hari. So now we'll move to the next pastime, the pastime of stealing Krishna's flute. So after enjoying Ras Leela in the autumn season, Krishna realizes the pastime of Holi in the month of March, that April that time, and having his flute stolen, it takes place in the spring season. So in the Vasanta Ritu, he enjoys this particular pastime of flute stealing and all the holy festival. So one night, Govinda, Balram, they went to the forest of Vrindavan to enjoy the pastime of Holi, the festival of colors, which we had already discussed, which is enacted either in the morning, sometimes it happens in the morning, and sometimes it happens in the evening. The skillful festival performance exactly matches the local customs. So the way locally it happens in Vrindavan, Lathamar, Holi and all this. So it was like that. So the Devatas were very enthusiastic to observe the celebration. So even today, Vrindavan is filled with visitors during this holy festival. Seeing the astonishing beauty of Krishna holding his flute and wearing Vajanti Mala, glittering garments and ornaments, the gopis tied him up in their hearts and sang his glories in charming voices. And now you can see the next slide. Yeah, it's a holy festival. Krishna and Balram and their gopas perform the pastime among the splendid gopis of Vrindavan, who are clever and skillful at playing holy. The two brothers, Krishna and Balram, however, out of respect for each other's mood of love, played separately with their own groups of gopis. So Krishna had his own group of gopis, Balram had his own group of gopis, whose minds relish the association of their respective lovers. Krishna and Balram sang a special alap in a rag with great devotion. Their artistic vocalizing of the appropriate notes and embellishment produced waves of continuous joy. So they were also singing different notes. Another influence of holy festival, Vrajabhumi, having revived its strength after a long cold winter, looked very beautiful and auspicious. To bring the festival, the young ladies of Vrindavan, who were adorned with all wonderful qualities and whose bodies looked attractive, smeared with natural ointments. So they used natural ointments to decorate themselves. And slyly held water in their hands, and then they offered it to the land of Vrindavan. Gopas and their associates sang lovely songs in Dvipadika, Charchari Tala. The traditionally Vrajavasa songs sounded as pleasing as the smell of musk. With the accompaniment of kartalas and sweet mridangas, it enhanced the charming vibrations of their bangles and ankle bells. So they were dancing, singing. The sound and their sound was looking very beautiful. Krishna and Balram played in this way for a long time and then wandered around in the lonely forest, pleasant with rows of young trees. The only sign of life in that deep forest were the cries of peacocks, which was piercing the evening sky. Meow, meow. So they were like singing like that. The rays of the moon filtering through the leaves of the trees painted the forest floor with beautiful colors. Illumined by the moonlight of spring, the splendid forest atmosphere easily aroused the sweet mellows of conjugal love. Now you can see the next slide. Yeah. So Haladar Balram looked extraordinarily elegant, moving with his own group of young gopis. One golden earring intensely danced on Balram's cheek, and his eyes rolled from drinking Varuni. Actually, Balramji wears earrings only in one ear. And I don't know, North India also sometimes boys like to wear earrings only one ear. With his dark blue chadar half falling off his camphor white chest, Baldev looked like white moon breaking through the darkness. For sometimes, Baldev, who is talented artist, danced to the beat of the songs in Kerkas and Dvipadika, appearing like personification of bliss. Balram sang, laughed, threw kumkum powder on his own set of gopis, as if sprinkling the sindoor of love on their foreheads, which happened during the marriage time. Backed by Veena, Baldev loudly sang a song in Dvipadika. And then in a joking mood, he threw colored powders on the restless-eyed gopis. Balram mixed with many gopis, gopi group leaders, and their companions in the same way. So he was mixing with the gopis in the same way Krishna enjoys with Radharani, Lalita, Chandravali, Samasaki, and Bhadra. Like Krishna's prime gopi is Radharani, similarly Balram's prime gopi is Purnananda. Purnananda is the chief gopi of Balram. Yeah. Now you can see the next slide. Krishna, meanwhile, defeated the gopis' long standing pride of their singing skill by sweetly playing indistinctly on his flute. The gopis responded by surrounding Krishna. So when Krishna played on flute, gopis surrounded Krishna and they doused him with kumkum with their bangles jingled joyfully. So their bangles were jingle and they were sprinkling Krishna kumkum on Krishna. While tolerating the showers of kumkum, Hari hung his head down submissively like best of the youthful intoxicated elephants, and he continued to play flute song in Charsari Tal. Now you can see the next slide. Yes. So as Krishna playfully moved this with heroic steps, he met with Balram, who rambled about like intoxicated elephants along with his own group of gopis. So Krishna's group now met with Balram's group. These gopis, who were completely attached to Balram, gazed at him with tender eyes, conveying their affection for their beloved consort. Lifting their bengal laden arms, they sang according to the beat and sometimes induced Balram to sing along. So they were singing in some beat and they were also inducing Balramji to sing. While their ankle bells tingled in time and nimble movements of their feet, with the nimble movements of their feet, Gopi danced besides Balramji and they threw kumkum powder on his body with great delight. So they are throwing kumkum powder on Balramji's body. Now you can see in the next slide. Yeah. So understanding their hints from Krishna's glances, the cowherd boys, Gopas, bombarded the gopis with red, white, yellow scented powders. And by that bombardment, the gopis of Balramji ran away in fear. Seeing their condition, Krishna smiled and mocked them by playing merrily on his flute. Krishna is really. So he told Gopas, no, you throw colors on the gopis of Balramji. So they ran away. Krishna's gopis laughed along in sweet tones. Krishna didn't tell them to throw on his gopis, but on Balram's gopis. So while clapping their hands with a strong beat and bellowing, ho, ho, he, hey, Krishna's friends filled the four directions with robust laughter. So they were enjoying. And now you can see the next slide. Yeah. So his anger and passion inflamed, Balramji, roaring like a wild young bull elephant, suddenly spurred to competition. So because Balramji's gopis were running away, now Balramji was like, he was also throwing colors in anger. And then, as you can see in the next slide, yes. Now Balramji, he chased Krishna's gopas to defeat them with deluge of powders. Glancing forward and backward like lions stalking prey, Krishna's girlfriend desired victory. So Krishna's gopis, they were throwing colors and they wanted victory now. But losing their intelligence, they could not decide whether to attack Balram or run away. And now you can see the next slide. Yeah. So when Krishna's Gopa friends counteracted Balram, he laughed and he squeezed them in his strong snake-like arms and covered them with colorful powders. So in the pleasure of playing, Gopas lost all sense of awe and reverence for Balram as they shouted at him, contented with contented faces. So they're shouting at him, hey, hey, hey. Being very strong, they managed to get free from Baldev's grip. And now you can see in the next slide. Yeah. So gathering in a group, they fearlessly retaliated with a volley of vermilion flower bombs. So although Balramji was defeated by them, he was fearless. And now Krishna came in picture. So Krishna is the one who invoked. Now Krishna spoke to the Gopas. He said, so Krishna bathing everyone in a glow of his soft, sweet smile, he said, what you have done is not right. I don't like it. It is ungentlemanly to gang up on my brother who is alone. So you all are having one gang and my brother is alone. So hearing this, all the boys, they calm down. So moved by emotions of comedy, pride, anger, Baldev's complexion assumed a ruddy hue to appear like a diamond embraced by red lotuses. So Balramji was looking like diamond pillar embraced by red lotuses. So the majestic form of Balram shone like a huge crystal bud reflecting the red java flower. Or it was looking like a proud pinnacle of ice touched by the pink of early dawn. Baldev looked as elegant as mountain of white lotuses, covered by a forest flower of pink lotuses inhabited by Chakravaka birds. So Baldev was looking white, and all other gopas here and there, and even the colors on his body, because they had thrown pink color, it was looking like mountain covered by pink lotuses. Yeah. So he looked like a full moon anointed with vermilion, glowing in the red evening sunset. So he was, Balamji is white, so he was looking like full moon, and he was covered with this red color. So he was looking like full moon covered in red evening sunset. Seeing him, thus Balram's gopis surrounded him and amused him with blissful singing, dancing as they wandered off together. Meanwhile, Krishna's gopis, their hearts full of longing and drunk with portion of love, enhanced the festive atmosphere with amorous gestures indicating their conjugal desires. So they were like glancing and giving signals to Krishna. So they conspired for a theft, as you can see in the next slide. Yeah. So there was conspiracy now. So the gopi said, how can we steal that flute, which is like a snake scented with aguru from Krishna's strong arms? And what will Krishna do without his flute? Isn't it a good idea to put is it a good idea to put our beloved in depression by stealing his flute? Should you steal the flute, not steal the flute? But when the flute is in Krishna's hand, it is like a lance to cleverly pierce our hearts with its sweet enchanting melody. When Krishna plays on flute and he pierces us. And that is why we must get flute in our hands. Because it has pierced us so many times. Smiling, these gopis continued whispering among themselves. They said, we can't take flute in Krishna's presence. When Krishna, we can't take it. Nor does he ever put it down. He doesn't put down the flute. Even in a state of confusion, he does not let go of it. So among these three possibilities, we must find some way to steal it. So the third possibility, taking it out of Krishna's hand when he's bewildered, is the strongest. Because even if he's bewildered, he doesn't give it up. But he may give it up when he's bewildered. And then you can see in the next slide. Yes. So there's all conspiracy going on. In order to bewilder Krishna, one expert gopi met Radharani in a lonely place and confided, oh, fortunate Radha, if you really want to take Krishna's flute under your control, then put on obstinacy for some time, and the impudence of Krishna's flute playing will flee away by seeing your obstinacy. and the skill of our singing will become prominent. So when Krishna plays down his flute, our singing will become prominent because in front of flute it can't be. And then maybe we can, when Krishna is bewildered, why Radharani is angry, why Radharani is angry. So if he becomes bewildered, that time maybe we can take out the flute. And now you can see the next slide. Yeah. So again our hero comes, Kusma. So whenever there's Holi, he comes. So after the Gopi's secret talk, Krishna's close friend Kusuma, Madhumangal, though not knowing their complete plan, boldly spoke to Krishna. So combining sweetness with fragrance of flowering creepers of frank talkativeness. So he had sweetness also and talkativeness also. Madhumangal was speaking. So he spoke to Krishna. Oh friend, listen. Though the gopis are very learned, their singing can't match with your flute playing. So because that's why they're very jealous. They're very jealous of your flute, and that's why they're planning to steal your flute. So if you want to save your flute, what you should do to prevent this, you should keep your flute with me. And then you can sing in a loud voice. Because if it is there with me, gopis will not be able to approach me. Why they won't be able to approach me? Because of my Brahma Tejas. My Brahmanical austerities won't allow them to steal fruit from me. And then Krishna, Krishna replied, he said, oh friend, we have already fully witnessed the strength of your Brahmanical power in the previous spring festival. Because that time he became a Bhutnath, Bhutnath Seva. So without a doubt, it seems that today you will show us the festival of protecting the fruit as well. So like last time you saved us, and this time also you will save us. And then it was like a negative comment. And then Madhumangal said, oh friend, I can't protect the fruit as much as that person who gives up, who has given you ability to attract everyone by special power of his mantra. Like somebody has given you power to attract everyone, that's why you're Krishna. So if that person uh, can't protect you, similarly, I can't protect you. That means he will surely protect you, one who has given this power. Similarly, I will surely protect the fruit. But one can't see such a person in this world now who can protect you because you protect everyone. So, what is the question of someone trying to take your fruit? So, if it is there with me, nobody can take the fruit. So, don't mistrust a dear friend like me. And then Krishna said, what will you do if intensely frenzied gopis, due to overpowered by bliss, just snatch a fruit from your hand? What will you do at that time? How will you get it back? And then Madhumangal replied, you will see the power I have gained from my penance, my Brahma Tejas. And then you can see the next slide. Yeah. So then, taking the flute and tucking it under his arm, he said, please sing a song, Krishna, now. No need to play a flute. So in a voice conquering the sound of Veena, Krishna sang a song in Chacharital with great artistry. And because of that singing also, Yamuna stopped flowing in her stunned condition. The trees rained tears. Birds and animals trembled in ecstasy. Hearing the song, the does felt bliss and they licked up the drops of perspiration behind each other's ears. So from each other's ear, behind the ear, they were perspiration, they drank that. It seemed that the streams of sweetness from Krishna's song entered the ear holes of the deer, and they don't find sufficient space inside because ear holes are very small. So they oozed out to find sufficient space. And that is how they appeared as these drops of tears. Expertly composing raga please the ear due to its precise shrutis, jatis, and 7 notes. And then Madhumangal boasted proudly, oh, how wonderful, my friend. I've never heard such strong singing in Chacharital in all my years. And then he looked at gopis and he said, "Oh, arrogant gopis, you can't sing songs with alap that give such a happiness. Just see how my friend is singing." And now you can see the next slide. Yes. Again, Sangeet Vidya came. Sangeet Vidya, who's expert gopi musician, said, "Oh, intelligent one, if Lalita, who is wearing a gorgeous silk sari, can sing better than Krishna, then crooked minded fellow, you will lose the flute. Let the flute be bigger." So if Lalita can sing better than Krishna, then put flute there as a wager. So if Lalita defeats Krishna, we'll take away the flute. And Madhugangal said, "Oh, learned one, only I know the science of music. I'm Brahmana. It is difficult for an ordinary person to know, even if he's engaged in constant meditation on the subject. So, according to my final judgment, I will proclaim who is the winner at the appropriate time. So, this will please the Devatas and be agreeable to all." And then Sangeet Vidya said, "O learned Brahmana boy, this is not simply chanting of the Vedic hymns which satisfy the Vedic scholars. So, who are you to judge now who will be winner? You don't know any music." So, while smiling, Krishna continued singing and hinted with a glance. He hinted with a glance to Madhumangal. And Madhumangal understood the intentions of Krishna and said, "Oh, vain women, if you don't agree that my knowledge of music is sufficient for judging, then we should agree that the singing of both parties is equal. If you don't agree with me, then both are equal. So let us see if you're singing like Krishna, when he sang, Yamuna was stunted, trees were crying. So if your Lalita singing can stun the Yamuna water, bring tears to the trees and creepers, make the birds and animals tremble in ecstasy, I'm certain that no one can sing as jestful as my friend. So if she can do that, I'll agree that she has won. Therefore, we will wager the flute. If you want to gamble over the singing, then to be fair, you must offer Radha as the wager from your side. So from our side there is flute, from your side there should be Radha Rani. Who indicated that? Krishna indicated that. And then Lalita Sakhi said, "Oh stupid boy, a fool makes the whole world stupid, insipid. In all gambling matches, the stakes must be equal. We can never equate glass with a gold. So how can you compare this flute to Radharani?" And then Madhumangal responded, "Oh worshipable one, do you think that my dear friend's flute is like a glass and your friend Radharani is like a gold?" Lalita answered, "Is there any doubt about it? If you want equal stakes, then without fear you should wager your friend. So if Radharani is from other side, Krishna should be from your side." And then Madhumangal said, "All right, then begin singing. Since I am totally pure in heart, I will wager my friend also. So Krishna is wager from my side." So he's putting Krishna as a wager and gambling. So the biggest gambling of the entire creation. And then you can see in the next slide. Yes. And then Lalita, her throat reddened and her eyebrows dancing, gave up all shyness to sing a gentle Kedara rag with boldness and enthusiasm. Lalita clearly enunciated varieties of gamakas, thrills, spanning from lower to higher octaves, ascending and descending. Using the full grandeur of her Gandharva scale, Lalita easily surpassed the expertise of Gandharvas and vanquished their pride also. So she sang in such a way. After feelingly singing the alap without any tal in Kedara Rag, Lalita sang a song in pleasing tempo according to the convention of musical taste in the Maharashtrian dialect. So she sang in the Maharashtrian style. So Lalita sang. The words were having this meaning: "The brightly shining moon of Siam, the nectarian disk, endowed with all arts, is expert at giving bliss to the lotuses and in agitating the ocean of prema. Krishna, the beloved of Vrindavan, who wears a crown of mango buds while fondly sporting in the spring, is partial to his girlfriends, that means gopis. So, with great pride, as you can see in the next slide, yeah, Kusma held his arms above his head and pranced with his burning hand. Hey, 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 you are defeated. Oh, Lalita has been defeated. Okay, this is unlike the previous one only. Yeah. So while you were speaking like that, suddenly flute slipped from Madhu Mangal's armpit and it fell on the ground. And now you can see in the next slide. So without anyone in the universe knowing about it, Sangeet Vidya quickly snatched it up and hid it up. So overwhelmed with vanity, she did not even tell her friends about it. So she spoke to Madhu Mangal. She said, so she hid it, nobody knew. And then she said to Madhu Mangal, listen, why are you so happy over something that never happened? You are pranking around like a madman. Oh, Krishna is one, Krishna is one. Your friend with a fickle ankle bells should consider who is the actual winner. He should consider who is the winner. So Madhumangal said to Sangeet Vidya, oh, one respected by the learned, according to me, your defeat is evident. For the vigor was laid for singing Charsarital, but Lalita has only sang in Dvipadika Tal. Oh, one with a happy face. Please consider that she is defeated or not. So first thing it was supposed to be in Tajarital. She speak in Dvipadika Tal. It is so she is lost. So hearing this, Lalita and Sangeet Vidya broke out in laughter. So Sangeet Vidya said, "Oh uncouth one, what is remarkable about Charchari, Dvipadika or Jambali? The attraction is in the use of Murchana, Swara, Grama. Lalita's song displayed the epitome of sweetness. Indeed, just see, because of our singing, what has happened. The jeweled basins you see under the trees, they have melted into water due to the strong currents of our song. So these it has become molten. You were saying about effect of Krishna's singing. This is effect of her singing also. By its nature, the water has spread out around the bases of the trees and solidified as sitting platform. So the basin became molten and again it became solidified. So it is true that you from your friend's song, Yamuna looks divine, trees of Vrindavan become conscious, birds and animals seem fully alive. But our friend Lalita song, just see what effect they had. They have all become petrified like hard rock. Water has become hard. So our this magic was better than that magic. Therefore, we have won. Now bring your friend and hand him over to us. So we have one Krishna. Now send Krishna to us. And then Subal Saka came in between. Hey, oh Sangeet Vidya, how is it that you have become covered by foolishness like an ignorant person? With such intelligence, can you understand music? Did it not occur to you that it is impossible for this boy, Madhu Mangal, to beggar Krishna and give him away? It is an acceptable rule, and it is an accepted rule that a person can beggar only one who is his dependent. Like if somebody depend on me, I can beggar him. No one can beggar and give away the Lord. Like it's like nobody can say, okay, I am putting a Taj Mahal on stake. No, Taj Mahal doesn't belong to you. So then Krishna said, he said, Madhumangal, now you can't command the respect of others. You have been defeated by these girls who are proud of their victory and mad with the intoxication of the festival. You'll fall into an inescapable condition. Therefore, you had better give them the fruit. Otherwise, my fruit will go along with you anyway. So you give them a fruit, otherwise my fruit will also go, you will also go. They'll beat you now. Madhumangal said, oh friend, but I have won. Showing your strength, you should snatch away that dear companion Radhika. So actually, you have not lost. Lalita has lost. And that's why you should take away Radharani now. So Lalita said, and best you are hardworking ass, dullard. We have wagered on the song I sang, and the song proclaims my victory. So you are asking for magic, but I have shown the magic. And that is why ultimately I have won. And then Madungal said, friend, greedy woman, if you speak in such an arrogant way, then take the fruit. You want to take the fruit? So I have hidden the fruit, now you take the fruit. And now, as you can see in the next slide, so saying this, he looked for the flute, but he could not find it. So give me a minute. Yeah. So saying this, he looked for the flute, but he could not find it. And then he said, oh, friend, out of fear, that flute has run away from my armpit and it has gone to some safe garden with unbroken creepers. And when he said like this, everybody smiled like anything. They understood that finally Madhumangal has lost the flute. Hare Krishna. And then what happened next? We'll discuss in the next class. So for today, we'll stop here. कृष्ण भगवान की जय, नंदनंदन मोर मुकुंड वंशी वाले की जय, शिल्पोपाद की जय, वांछकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिंधुभ्यश्च पतितानां पावन वैष्णवानां नमो नमः, शिल्पोपाद की जय। हरि हरि।
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, thank you.